So, also going to do some of this over here, where it loops around to the other side of the head. Can you see up here? No, you cannot. So, I'm just gonna darken this here, and this needs to be kind of a harsh line. But we are going to make this kind of go back in space a little bit. Oh, what I didn't do is this here. I left this negative space here on purpose. I'm going to darken that a little bit, and you'll see why once we get this tape off of him. Okay, so I do want this to be super subtle because this, I don't want this catching your eye. I want it to kind of really go back in space. Now that I'm looking at it, I want this here to really come down a bit more, like that. Yeah. You can see that kind of just looks like glare on there. It actually looks lighter than darker, but that'll go away as it draws. So, if you're just tuning in, whoa, Raquel donated $5. Thank you, Raquel. We need to make your name even darker. However, don't donate. I don't need donations. I appreciate them very much. I happen to know Raquel, and she does not need to be giving me money. But thank you for appreciating the stream enough to do that. Raquel actually already has gotten her name darkened once, so pretty soon it's just gonna be like a black blob right here. But if you're just tuning in, what I'm doing is losing my mind. But earlier we worked on this bracelet. This is going to be a gold bracelet. Really hard to see in the stream, but what I did was I'm treating it indirectly. So I'm painting the darks and the lights separately. So right now just the darks are in. I need to wait for the oil paint to cure so I can do the white without the danger of them mixing, because we don't want to mix the white and the burnt umber or the brown. We don't want to make like a weird muddy light brown color. That's not what we're looking for. We just want to paint the lights in with white and the darks in with brown, and they never ever meet. There's always that middle value that's still there. And then we glaze color over top. So this will get like a goldish color glazed over top eventually, and then we're really going to push the lights and darks. So after that, I debated working on this dress. This white here is tape. I really just use it to make sure my edges are crisp. That's probably what I'm going to be doing all day tomorrow, is this dress. I want to do it all in one sitting. So rather than do part of that today, moved on to this here. I'd started it my last stream on Tuesday, last Tuesday, and I was not happy with it. I wiped it down and I just put in some very subtle shadows and some very subtle, sorry, I got distracted. I really want to do this while I'm thinking about it, but some very subtle kind of ripples in the fabric. And I'm about to tear this tape off, and I do want to make sure that this is at least kind of what I'm looking for, because once that tape comes off, that's it. I don't want to retape it. If I'm painting around the edge, there's the possibility of making a bad edge. So for now, we're going to see how this goes. I actually think I'm going to break my rule about this not going to the edge. And we're going to break up this shape a little bit here. Like I said, this is extra scary because I don't really know what this is going to be. Until I take that tape off. So we really pushed the darts where we needed to. Do want to make sure that this is a little more subtle. Oh, excuse me. I think we're ready. I think we're ready to tear the tape off. I'm either going to be very happy or even more disappointed than ever because I've put so much time into this weird section that I don't want to have a lot of attention, but I want it to still be good, if that makes sense. So let's see how it is. Hopefully you can see this process in the detail cam, and I'll try to follow the path of the tape as I get down lower, because I'm definitely blocking this. Want to make sure I use it clean, and here, yeah, underneath this tape, without scratching the painting, like I did earlier. I scratched a little bit there, but that's okay. It worked in the end. Okay, so we need to clean up where this like connects in this weird way. Now you can see why I made that dark section there. Okay, it's getting interesting around the hand. I'm certainly not let down just yet. Which, maybe not. That turned out pretty good. So all we need to do is really clean up that section up there, and I'm just going to use pure raw umber for that. Damn, that looks better than what I imagined it would. That is exciting. Damn. I don't know if you can see that. You can't see shit. The glare is so bad. Let me turn this off for a second. Whoa, that didn't... I guess that might have worked. You can see in the detail cam how how different that is. So, I mean, mission success. This is great. I was last Tuesday, was working on this and I was not feeling it at all. That's why I wiped it off. There was a very dark color here. I wiped it off. This is awesome. I could not be happier with this. With a little bit of cleaning up on the top. That looks fantastic. Awesome. Okay. So there are a few more things that I want to do. Need to really get this dark color here. And I'm going to make this shape, which you can't see. And to be honest, I'm having a hard time seeing because of glare. We're going to make sure that this goes down. In a more natural way. What I'm also going to do is I'm going to use this dark color that I already have, and I'm going to make this negative shape here darker. That might be too dark. Let me get some medium here. Again, I'm oil painting, using water to thin my paints. Always want to use painting medium or linseed oil or something like that. Never want to use paint thinner. You don't want paint thinner to be on your painting. Paint thinner is just to clean your brushes. So, that's about the value I want to have. Maybe a little less thick. This is also scary because I don't have tape to rely on. I'm using my good old-fashioned steady hand, which isn't that great, to be honest. Definitely want to make sure it's darker than the color we just put on right here. Let me adjust this. So I might switch to my detail brush here to really make sure that this edge is nice and clean. Remember, line and edges are the L in Skivell, which are the 5 properties of an image: shape, color, value, line, texture. You want to make sure you know that when you start your own oil paintings or drawings, illustrations, whatever you do. Skivell is going to help you immensely. What I'm really, really loving is this like really jagged, rough, raw look right here where that shadow is. Completely like not necessarily intended, but I'm definitely not getting rid of that. That is just awesome. So what this is going to do is it's really going to make Everything I've done today is going to make this hand really, really stand out. And actually, I think there's one other thing we might want to do, which is really darken this here. Really make that go back in space. That's nice. So with these thin brushes, you really have to make sure it doesn't just look like you're making an outline. Right. And just like that, I'm in love with that section of the painting. This is awesome. I'm not even going to touch that thumb. So now the next step is to really clean up the face. Really need to clean up the mask. Right now it's very liney. God, that glare drives me crazy. I swear it's going to look great. Once the paint cures, it'll be a little less reflective and you'll be able to see that a lot better. We still have some time, so I might go back into that face a little bit. I don't know. I might not. I don't want to even touch this part of the painting, to be honest. Because I'm so afraid of messing it up now that I've got it somewhere that I like. We accomplished exactly what we wanted. We wanted something that looked good, that isn't super eye-catching. We had a lot of contrast. It's going to bring your eye to it. It's on the very far edge of the painting for a reason. I want it as part of the image, but not a focus. The real focus here is going to be the chair, to be honest. Now this, one thing I could do is I could try some of this detail in this mask. A little worried that it's not quite dry. So we're gonna do a little test here. And to be honest, it's dry enough that I could do that, but it's in a really delicate state. Don't mind my weird pink line thing cutting my head in half. It's in a weird state because it's dry to the touch, but you can tell just by touching it that it's super delicate, and pressing a little too hard will make it like tear and go weird. Sorry to bother you, but would you please say again your stream schedule slowly? I'm not good at listening in English. Not a problem, Eights. So I do have a day job, so this is a side project. But I'm streaming Mondays and Tuesdays tomorrow from 6:30 Eastern to 9 Eastern. So I'm not sure which time zone you're in, but basically I'll be streaming for another 45 minutes, ending it right on the hour, and I start 2.5 hours before that. So I'm happy to have you. I hope to see you again, Eights. Thank you. And if that wasn't slow enough, or I can put it in the chat real quick. 1 second. There you go. If you have any more questions, just let me know. So, do I want to do this? I might want to do this. I'm going to have to be super careful, but I think we can do it. Let me see exactly what we're going to be doing here. So basically what we have here is there's a little bit of a three-dimensional lip all the way around this. I think it's like stitching, where you can see it's just indented kind of all the way around. I'm going to clean my brushes while I'm talking, spewing thoughts. Probably aren't even coherent, but we also need to worry about the depth of this. So you can kind of see the edges of things, and the edges like of the lip of where it goes into that eye section. Oh, my paper towel fell. There you go. So a lot of what we're doing is going to be very subtle. Like, remember, no lines in our paintings because there's no lines in reality, but we're going to make some lines in this thing. And that's really the extent of it, but it's going to add so much depth to this. So I'm going to keep this brush out. We're not going to be using the other one. So I'm going to clean this quick. Remember, you want to use paint thinner to clean your brushes, but linseed oil or painting medium to thin your paints to put them on your painting. Because we're working with oil paint, and oil paint is thick like toothpaste, and you can't use paint that thick, at least in this style. I mean, there are people that use paint right out of the tube. They use their palette knife to apply it. Sorry, I'm just weird right now, in a weird spot. But anyway, some people use their palette knife. Let me grab my palette knife if I can even find it. I definitely never found it after I put it down last time. Geez. Palette knife. Some people will actually paint with their palette knife. I've done it in the past. I'm not very good at it, to be honest. But that's kind of the only situation where you can use non-thinned paint. So, I don't know how I got on that tangent. I just want to clean this brush. In the meantime, Eights, what language do you speak? Are you from, where are you from, I guess is the question. It's very cool to think that someone somewhere else in the world is watching the stream. And as always, we want to make sure we close our mineral spirits, paint thinner, whatever you want to call it. This stuff is, it has fumes. I don't even know the word I'm looking for. I'm kind of exhausted at this point, but You're from Japan. Awesome. That's crazy. I've never been to Japan, but I have always wanted to go. I've been to China for work, but never Japan. And one day I'll be in Japan. So let me get this detail camera moved over. I got my brush clean here. We're not going to use that anymore. I gotta do some crazy camera work here. Move this back over. Get this as close as we can. So, thanks. Are you from, or are you an artist yourself? Do you paint? Are you just starting? Have you been doing it for a long time? Or do you do sculpture or anything like that? So not great, but we'll get that figured out. Oops. All right, so we're gonna need to mix our blue again. We're gonna want that same blue, and we're gonna need to make it lighter. So to get that blue, we're gonna use our two blues. Remember, you want a warm and cool variation of each of the three primary colors. So I'm gonna mix my warm and cool blues together because I want something kind of in the middle, more towards the green side. And I'm going to also add in a little bit of my warm red to lower the saturation, the intensity of the color, and we'll get the color we're looking for. Or, I lied. We're not going to use this. We're going to use our warm yellow instead. And that's going to move it more towards green, which is what we want. There is a bit of a green to this blue that I want to make sure we keep even in these highlights. So it's mostly faint highlights that we're going to be doing here, but there are some shadows as well. So I'm just going to mix like a good middle value, and we're going to add some darker ultramarine blue to darken it and some white to lighten it on the other end. So I know I don't have a camera on my palette. To be honest, you're not missing anything. I'm not painting, Bob Ross style, where I have everything laid out and I'm mixing stuff on the fly. Don't do that. I think it's a huge waste of paint. So I'm basically putting out the three colors I know I need and mixing them as necessary. When we're mixing, you always want to use our palette knife. We don't want to mix with our brushes. You can use your brush for fine kind of lightening and darkening or tweaking of your color. But when you're mixing a color from the start, you always want to use your palette knife. I do digital drawing and stream practicing. Awesome. I have tried. I have an iPad, and I got the Apple Pen or whatever to do some digital stuff. I did a little, but not that great, to be honest. Something I would really need a lot of practice for. So I commend that. So let's get this mixed. Basically mixing my two blues here. Almost equally. And then we're going to add this orange until it's what we're looking for. So I think what I have is a bit too green. So if I draw it out, I don't know if you can see that. I think it's a little too green. So might be able to get away with it, but I'm not gonna press my luck. I'm gonna use a little bit more ultramarine. Just a little. I don't want to lose all of the green in it, but I definitely want more blue than what it is. So if I pull it out, that is exactly what we want, which you can't see it very well. Let's see if you can see it better there. No, it's not going to focus. Anyway, trust me, it's the greenish blue that we want. So we're going to use this. We're going to mix it with some white and some I'm not sure how I want to make this darker yet. I'll get back to that. First thing first is the lights. I need my more white. I need to clean up some of these tubes of paint on my Taboret. It's getting out of hand. We have our white, and we're going to struggle to open it. There we go. So remember that white oil paint is very, very opaque. So it's going to take over whatever color you're using it in very quickly. So you only want to add a little bit at a time. And to be honest, I'm going to use my brush for this. Not recommended on a brush this small, but we're going to do it. So I'm going to get some medium here. Get my paint to the consistency of milk. And then I'm slowly going to add white to it. So we have our lighter blue here. Probably can't see it, but we're going to make a little ridge around this. So it's going to fade in from up here. Basically just putting a line in for now, and then I'm gonna kind of build off of that line as I go. Farmed that pretty hard. So here I'm going to use like a scumbling technique. If you're familiar with that drawing technique, scumbling, which is kind of like a controlled scribble. I'm using that to pull my line out and kind of blend it in. This line is going to fade out. So I'm going to lift it with my finger. It's lighter or darker, I mean, right here. So we're just lifting parts out. Ooh. We are killing it today. That looks great. I don't even know if you can see that. Yeah, you can kind of see it. So cool. That's working. We're getting some structure to this mask. It's not looking like a relatively flat shape. So there is another highlight here on this side, and this is up along the very top edge. So the very, 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 very top edge. So it's thicker here as it comes down, and then much thinner here. So we got the thick part of it. And then we're going to also make a shadow along that edge, similar to the white one, how it's inset a little bit. So before I do that, I'm going to do the rest of my highlights. So, something, to be honest, almost identical on this side. And we're going to do very, very, very simple hint at it here. But that's mostly in shadow. So that's all it's going to be, is a hint. Okay. So we're going to continue this on, and I'm realizing I mixed way too much of my blue. Way, way, way too much. But that's okay. I don't think I'm close to running out. My cat's being bold again. This is not yours. All right. So we have about a half hour left to get this sorted out. This is not your pen, Pepper. She likes to steal pens, so I have to make sure that they're put away. So, back at it. Again, just starting with a line. see how this interacts with the corner. Now I'm going to do the same thing where I scumble it down. Now I shouldn't have started right up on there. Should have kind of blended it a little bit, but I can use my finger to do that afterwards. Or my tape is kind of getting in the way here. It's okay. So now I want to lift the parts that are not super light. That looks great. So now we're going to do the same thing with the top edge again, but it doesn't go all the way across. So we have to make sure we're painting what we're seeing, not what we think should be there. So for the most part, it's really just right here. Picks back up here. And that's really it. That's super interesting right there. Okay, so now we're going to darken our color. In fact, I don't know if we necessarily need to darken it. I'm going to try just the color that we mixed first, but without the white mixed, and see if that's dark enough to do what we need to do. So we're going to need to rinse this light color out of the brush. I'm not sure if the music stopped or if it's just in between songs. It's probably about that time that it stops. It stops like every hour-ish. How about this one? This one sounds good. So I haven't been streaming very long, but I cannot believe how difficult it is to get music worked into a stream. You can't. So I could use video games music because it's Twitch, but most video game music is energetic. I mean, there are exceptions, yes, but just trying to find royalty-free music to use, it's very difficult. I'm adding to my collection as I go, trying to keep it mellow. Let me know what you think of the music. If it sucks, tell me. If you think it's cool, I'll keep going. So, I'm going to make this dark color. Actually, I want it relatively thick so that it's more opaque. And now we need to do the same thing on the top edge here. Now I think it is looking too light. It looks like it's slightly lighter than what's there. So I need to make it darker. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take some of the mixture I used here to really darken this. And because it's warm, when I mix it with the cool blue, it's going to make more of a neutral, almost black color, but still have some depth of color in it. So I'm just going to grab some of that, bring it over, work it in. And we have almost a black, which is essentially what we want. And we'll see how that works. You know what? I am not feeling that at all. Not at all. So, what I'm going to do is I'm going to get some paint thinner on my paper towel. Very gently wipe that away. And we're back to our blue. Crisis averted. And this is the moment that I've been talking about for quite a while. And that is, I'm not supposed to use black, and black is very bad, but this is a situation where we need black. Because no matter what color we mix, it is not going to be as dark as we need it without being muddy. So this is not even paint. Definitely want to make sure you're using oil paint on an oil painting. Oh, my black is on my easel for whatever reason. So again, you want to use black very, very minimally. But now is the time that it just needs to happen. Some people are so anti using black because you lose all of the color, but sometimes it just has to be. And we're going to be working transparent, so it's not just going to be a ton of colorless, paint. It's going to make sense. Scumble. And then I'm really going to lift it off of there. Then we're going to do the same thing. We're going to really darken this bottom edge. There we go. This side is almost done. Let's just do this eye hole real quick. Something about this up here that's really distracting me. I need to go back in with some of the lighter color over there after I'm done with the other side, but we'll see how it goes. Over on this side, we're going to be doing almost the same exact thing. Pull it off in spots. Okay, and the very last spot we're gonna darken right along the finger. Nope, I lied. There is one more area. And actually, we're probably going to put some black in between the fingers as well. So, in fact, we are going to use a decent amount. Whoops. That is not good. Got a little bit on the finger there. So this is not a uniform black shape in here. And we want to make sure that we mimic the same shape. Go. Go. So, need a little bit of black. Okay. And I think we're good. You know what? I'm going to use a little bit of black right here. Really push this back into space. So, like I said, we're going to clean the brush out. We're going to go back to that light version, the highlight. I just need to fix up this. There's something kind of bold, but I think it needs to happen. I'm gonna put a highlight right here. And yeah, I'm using an awful brush for this. That's okay. Blur the edges. Except for that left edge. I want to keep that a hard edge. There we go. Alright. That's looking excellent. Even on stream. Which I am happy you can finally see some of the detail I'm creating. I'm going to work on a method to really make this work. I'm going to use a boom mic somehow, or a boom mic stand instead of a tripod. We'll see how that goes. This is getting exciting. Today was a really good day. There are days when you paint and things just work and it's awesome. And then there are days where no matter what you do, nothing works. Last Tuesday was one of those days, the first time I did that. Today feels good. I feel like I've redeemed myself, which is excellent. This mask is looking good. Make sure that's subtle, but I'm really liking it. I'm really liking what this is. Let me make sure I really clean up that where I went onto the finger. Okay. So, I think that's it for today. It's almost 9 o'clock. I'm gonna wrap up. Thank you. If you've been watching for a while, I'm glad you like it. I'll be back tomorrow, same time, 6:30 to 9 Eastern, Pennsylvania. Hope you liked it. Stop by tomorrow. I'll have even more stuff. We're gonna start working on this dress.